This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
How you doing, Jason Glick?
I'm doing good, John. Yourself?
Oh, I'm doing all right. What do you have on tap for us tonight?
Well, it's like I've been struggling for content for these things for the last couple of weeks, but then something arrived for me courtesy of the right stuff. And my God, it's been a while since I ordered something from them. But well, the final volume of Kosuke Fujishima's Paradise Residence, a nice it's like character driven, like female character oriented, slightly fan servicey series about a bunch of girls living in a rural Japanese dorm. It's like arrived for me. I thought, hey, I should talk about this guy because he's been one of the creators who's had the longest run of in American manga, for the lack of a better term, because way back in the day, and we're talking back in the Stone Ages, when it's like the 16-bit era of manga publishing in the U.S. That's basically when it consisted of Viz on one side and Dark Horse on the other. He gave us the original harem series, like for us at least, Oh My Goddess, which basically focused on one Keiichi Murasato, a schlub working at college, being the runt of his it's like of his engineering club, and then he accidentally dials a the hotline to the goddesses one day, and gets Beldandy. It's like a very nice, very comely girl who offers to grant him one wish, and his wish is that she would stay with him forever. And lo and behold, there began a long running, like more than two decades, and 48 volumes series about Keiichi and Beldandy's romantic troubles, as they kind of did their whole romantic pas de deux. It's like, as they basically admitted, did everything but admit to their love and actually consummate it. But that's not all the series had. It's like it also had Beldandy's Beldandy's two sisters, the half demon Erd, who was basically the wild girl. It's like of the series, you can always be counted on just push things in just a little bit racy tone for things. And Scold, who was kind of like the more innocent and naive, and also but also the more mechanically inclined, which helped indulge Fujishima's it's like, I wouldn't say mecha tendencies, but he's definitely a gearhead. Like, as his work in Oh My God, it's basically had Keiichi being a member of a mechanics club. It's like, and his other series, let's see, You're Under Arrest, also dealing with lots of mechanical stuff, and that's the same rearing its head in Paradise Residence, and his newest series, Tapu GP. Now, with Oh My Goddess, it's kind of like the harem series, in the sense that even though it was all about Keiichi and Beldandy, they're clearly destined to be together, but there are all sorts of complications placed before them over the course of the series run, be it just the everyday girls in in Keiichi's life, or some of the other goddesses who showed up, like Pure, who was basically kind of the sex appeal goddess. It's for whenever she showed up, that's kind of thing. Whenever you could sense that Fujishima was running out of invention, he threw in a new goddess. But thankfully, it only happened twice throughout the series. But and the series was good fun for a long while, for me at least, and also because hey, back in the day when you could only be counted on seeing seinen or shonen series from either Viz or Dark Horse. Oh My Gosh was unique in the sense that it was basically a romantic series, and it showed it was both content with its with the romantic travails of its protagonist, and it was frequently held up as an example of hey, this is this kind of thing you can see in manga. But it wasn't until years later, during the manga boom, that we realized that hey, it's like shoujo manga kind of had this romance thing locked down in all its various incarnations. Oh My Goddess was kind of like a relatively benign example of shonen romance. Many examples of which we've seen like over the years, like through the courtesy of it's like of Love Hina and whatnot. So it's like I've got some fun nostalgia for the Oh My Goddess series in the sense that like hey, it was so long running and so well known during its time that like I've got that that's just like I have like 36 volumes of it on my shelf. But well, here's the thing. Longtime readers will know that I gave up on this series at volume 36 because when Fujishima did a it's like, oh wait, everyone loses their memory type thing, and just did the most pedantic, boring version of this, of this plot. I thought, fuck this, I'm off the train, because, well, it's like at that point, oh my god, it felt like a series that was going to go on for fucking ever. I mean, it's like why. So I mean, like, why bother? Like, keep giving this guy my money if he's just gonna completely gonna just phone it in. It's like like with these new volumes. So there you go. That's why I stopped. But then years later, it turns out that hey, he did have an end in mind, or at least the things got so dire in terms of sales and whatnot that he just figured, okay, I'm gonna wrap this up and I'm gonna do like a big final series and it's like final arc, and then I'm finally get Keiichi and Danny married and be done with it. So apparently that happened in volume 48, the final Dark Horse volume, and well, it's like whether or not I read that is going to hinge on how long it takes Dark Horse to get around to reprinting the final volumes of that series in omnibus format, which they're currently doing, and also on how long it takes to Satellite the right stuff to offer a sale on said volumes, because it's like I dropped this series. I was not inclined to follow up on it anymore. But well, it's like for those 12 volumes that it'll take to finish it off. Well, like I can probably be enticed to come back to it for the right price. I'm supposing it's cheap enough. So John, I know you told me beforehand that you haven't read a whole lot of the manga. You've checked out some of the anime of Oh My Goddess as well. Any thoughts on there?
Some, to be exact, because there was an OVA that was
Yes.
produced, and then there was a television series.
2 seasons, I believe.
2 seasons, right? Which I started the first season, but I never really got into the second season. I didn't follow it that far, although it did seem to be the the OVAs are pretty much standalone. They're not really like, okay, and here's the TV series. I don't think that the TV series continued the OVAs. The OVAs were more like a 3-shot series, and that was pretty much it. And it pretty much
5-shot, I believe.
5-shot, something like that. Yeah, you're right. 5-shot. It's been a while. The
like,
DVDs are sitting on my shelf. I haven't watched them in a long time, but
we're talking like a decade between at least a decade between the OVAs and the new TV series.
Oh, absolutely, right? Absolutely. And you can tell the styles are different, although familiar to his manga drawing style. But you definitely see it. It's and those OVAs. I mean, they're nice and they're cute. The OVAs are, but I don't think that. I think that more people will probably be inclined to watch enjoy the television series because it's a more fuller story.
Yeah, I think it's also closer to the manga as well.
Yeah, that's my understanding. Is that it mirrors the manga. Some of the plots that go on in the manga, and very good stuff.
I guess just to give like our audience idea how long the series has been going on is that the Oh My Goddess OVAs came at a time when it was not uncommon for there to be an anime version of a long running series, like to also name another series, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, that Oh My Goddess would you'd get like this OVA series to promote the long running manga, but then as the series kept going, like, you'd eventually get like eventually someone like says, hey, it's been long enough since we do an anime version of this. Why don't we do like a real anime to like actually adapt the manga wholesale.
Hmm. Yep, that sounds about right. You know, yeah. Whereas an OVA might just draw one in to want to read more of their story, they're actually adapting the story with a television series. And, you know, it's like, hey, let's pull from the well of, oh my goddess, there it is, you know.
Exactly, and that quite a well to pull from right there.
Indeed.
Yeah, but it wasn't Fujishima's first hit. That would be "You're Under Arrest," which is the focused on the hijinks, the wacky slapstick hijinks of two police officers, Miyuki and Natsumi. This series had the it's like had the took the time honored like tradition of like pairing two diametrically opposed personalities, that of the by the book Miyuki, um, um, paired up with the wild and crazy Natsumi. It's like as they like took on like various slapstick oriented crimes and whatnot. It's like in the Tokyo area. It's like they ranged from like for like a visual K idol like bucking the law and like committing all sorts of traffic offenses it's like unpunished to a panty thief who would like go after silk panties on the highest of balconies, to Strike Man, a superhero themed it's like avenger of the wronged, to basically like it's basically a very comedic take on like the hell ends justify the means type things. Oh, and you've also got your Christmas tree bomb saboteur and whatnot.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, it's
Well,
like
an interesting thing about that anime wise is that they started with the OVA, and the television series pretty much just kind of took right off from it. So it was, and it's interesting because they didn't do that with Oh My Goddess, but they totally did it with this. They just like, okay. As a matter of fact, Animego, who I happen to have the DVDs for the first season and the OVAs, they just lumped it right into the first DVD set. They're like, okay, here it is, and it just continues to roll right on into the television show. So
okay, yeah, and it's also worth noting that you've got your experience with the series through the anime, but I've only read the 2 volumes that Dark Horse published of the series way back in the day.
yeah. By the way, these are some of the first, well, not first OVAs, but I remember watching these OVAs so long ago.
If you were in the '90s, then you probably watched at least one episode of the Oh My Goddess or You're Under Arrest OVAs.
Correct.
Yeah, but the series is interesting if you get the 2 volumes that Dark Horse published, which are subtitled "The Wild Ones" and "Lights and Siren." Mind you, not volumes 1 and volumes 2. This is back in the day when it's like it's like when publishing manga in the U.S. was like a far dicier proposition. And so Dark Horse only got about like say 8 issues of content out of these out of the series before it just went belly up.
Was that the Oh My Goddess you're talking about?
Of You're Under Arrest.
Oh, You're Under Arrest. Sorry.
Yeah. Apparently, it's like surprisingly Japanese, American manga fans were far more receptive to the idea of a fantasy romance than slapstick cops and robbers.
Because I do have the first volume of Oh My Goddess from, is it Dark Horse? Is it still Dark Horse back then?
Yeah, it's still Dark Horse.
Yeah, it was Dark House, and it's the volumes were flipped, which shows you its age.
Yes. It's like in fact, like while Dark Horse has been reprinting Oh My Goddess in unflipped format, you will only be able to find these volumes of You're Under Arrest in flipped format, because well, this is a series that's basically been forgotten by time. Really, it's like it didn't catch fire back in the day, so it's kind of fallen by the wayside in the sense that it was lucky to get all the 8 issues reprinted in 2 volumes, but beyond that, it's basically kind of a footnote. It's like in the history of manga. Apparently, according to the Anime News Network, there were 7 volumes of the Japanese, 7 volumes of it published in Japan, but we are likely never, ever going to get those volumes. It's like the rest of the series in English at least, because while Fujishima has his fans, they're not really enough to get all of his library brought over. Kind of like say like anyone who was working on a long running Shonen Jump series, for lack of a better term. But he is still enough of a name to get his latest series brought over, and that would be Paradise Residence, or his latest complete series, which is it's a series about it's like schoolgirl life in dorm. It's like in a dorm in high school, and it's like and yeah, it's like it's full of his like fun character driven like antics and focus in the while it's very much an ensemble piece. First among equals is its character Hatsune Takahashi, who is a tomboy who has more energy than she knows what to do with, for lack of a better term. It's like she's constantly late to class, like really disinterested in doing involved in doing schoolwork that doesn't involve like physical exertion. Um, Pursued by all the clubs on campus because of her athletic ability, but it's still not focused on what she wants to do. She's a fun, like engaging lead character to base the series around, and the series like has a lot of fun, like with its female driven character driven antics. It's like even the fan servicey bits, where it's like where we see the girls like in it's like in swimsuits or in it's like or in bathing. It's like it feels kind of tasteful, or at least tasteful compared to something like prison school, for lack of a better comparison. So it's fun, but I can't say it's high end fluff, for lack of a better term. It means like you're not gonna get a lot of particular insight, like a lot of dramatic insight or it's like or drama like in the antics of Takahashi, her roommate Suzuka, and the rest of the girls from Kika Dorm One. It's like, but it's fun. It's like in the sense that it allows Fujishima to like explore his character driven like personality, along with like the carrot in the like with these girls. It's like and their antics in high school. It's fun, light character comedy as they it's like as they do stuff like try to beat the heat at the dorms, create interesting it's like menu items in the kitchen during finals week. It's like or find ways to beat the heat during the dorm. It's like or go on a trip to the beach. I mean, the series does build up a decent head of steam with its climax as the girls work to prevent their dorm from being closed. But the stakes never really rise above. It's like mildly engaging. So it's fun, but it's kind of like it's for people who are fans of like either established fans of Fujishima, or like either like seeing cute girls doing cute things, or well, I don't know. That or was basically involved the curry recipe in the first volume, which I think would only apply to one friend of mine. So there you go. But it's fun, and it's also worth noting that while You're Under Arrest and Oh My Goddess are published both by Dark Horse, Paradise Residence and the series I'm about to talk about at the very end are both published by Kodansha, which well, I've talked about this on the blog before, but Dark Horse, well, it's like for years you could count on them to publish other series by creators that they've published before, but with Paradise Residence and Die Vergelder by Hiroaki Samura, this shows that Kodansha is basically wants to take some of their best known in the U.S. authors' work for their own, for lack of a better term. And also that continues with Toppu GP, which I got the first volume of this through Comixology, not first volume, first chapter of this through Comixology, and it's interesting in the sense that it's about about a kid who's apparently a motorcycle riding prodigy, and while it starts off showing him at his championship race, it quickly flashes back to what I'm assuming is going to be the main story for this series as he learns to learns to enjoy riding a motorcycle. It's like through his love of watching his well, not his, he calls her his Onee-san, which means big sister in Japanese, but I don't think she's his actual sister. She's just someone he loves to see ride a motorcycle, but he's not someone who really has any passion for itself until she convinces him to give it a shot, and things just take off from there. So it's like it's interesting in the sense that it's all about a character who has a passion for for motorbikes, and it also gives Fujishima more of a clearer venue to show his gearhead mania. So so on one hand, it's like I'm kind of interested in following checking this series out. It's like, but at the same time, I'm not going to buy it in it's like in chapter format because $2 for 26 issues, yeah, even digitally, that seems like a mug's game. I'm going to wait until the volumes come out, which if nothing else, the first chapter of Topo GP at least convinced me to give it a shot once the volume comes out. So, oh, and I guess I would actually before I got into like the very last thing, John, any thoughts about the about Fujishima's anime that I'm missing here?
Anime for what?
I don't know. Did I miss anything? We didn't
No.
talk about the You're Under Arrest anime.
Um, we talked a little bit about it, but well, I think I kind of covered the at least that. Well, at least from the anime perspective, I enjoy the interactions, and I guess that's one of the things of his, of his, the way his characters interact with each other. You can always expect, kind of the same,
Yeah,
with some develop.
for all the
Mhm.
fantastic stuff that comes like for his premises, he always focuses on like solid character interactions throughout all of his work.
Yeah, I mean, you really do get, at least in the anime, and I assume it's the way in the manga for You're Under Arrest, is you get a real sense of the camaraderie these people have with each other.
Very much so.
So, and I'm glad that you hit upon the point about him being a gearhead because it does show up.
Yes.
It shows up, and that's kind of the nice thing about You're Under Arrest is that I forget what the name of the signature car that they drive around is actually it's a Honda K car, and it's a small car. It's a real car. And it's well illustrated in the manga, and well, I know because I've seen those pictures, but and the anime. But it is very much a signature of them, and it looks fantastic. Like he doesn't hold any punches. But yeah, you do see that the whole motorcycle thing does come up in the Oh My Goddess anime as well. So they do focus on that, which is of course a point in the manga as well.
Yeah, I remember that one of the dad of one of the supporting characters in You're Under Arrest. He rides a Ducati.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's kind of like a big. It's like a big joke, like a talking point in the series in the sense that like, hey, it's like even though I don't know crap about any motorcycle brands, you get the feeling that hey, this is like a big deal that he rides this thing.
Mhm.
It's like from the manga itself.
Yep, yep. I mean, one of the things in the You're Under Arrest anime is that this car that the girls drive around is so small. They literally had this maneuver where they would open where one of them would open the door and like use their feet to help do a slide, I believe,
Oh,
or
there's a moment in the first volume where Natsumi is sold a lemon, and
Mhm.
Miyuki tunes it up to be this total beast.
Mhm.
Where in order to pull off this like huge turn, this really sharp
Yes.
turn, Natsumi kicks out the door and uses it as a buffer on the ground to turn around.
That might be the it might be the similar scene that I'm thinking of then. But again, that is, just that alone shows you, like he was really interested in putting that in there, to
Mhm.
because he's a gearhead. Well said.
Yes, and the series is like it's totally slapstick because you could only pull off do a move like that. It's
Right.
like
Yeah, yeah. That's the other thing. It's like, are you kidding me? But okay, sure, why not? So,
yeah, and it's also on a final note, we'd like to congratulate Fujishima on his marriage to the to who's apparently a very hot cosplay model. It's like
yes.
Nakomu Otogi. It's like who well according to these posts on the News Network, we're first announced about their marriage on June 29th and her pregnancy on the same day, which is in the same post, which is hey, that's great. It's like you get married and you're having a kid as well. And also the subsequent post a month later regarding the birth of their kid. So congratulations on that too. And I honestly wonder. I mean, I mentioned this briefly to you before we started this, John. But what is Japanese for shotgun wedding?
I don't know what is that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I see this and I think like hey, that's I get the feeling I can see what's really going on here from these posts. At the same time, congratulations to the both of them and wish them a
Yes.
long, it's like a long and productive marriage as it is.
Yep. Indeed.
All right, and we're done here. But any final thoughts?
None from me, sir.
Okay, well, I'm not sure what I'll be talking about next time. Maybe I'll do another author spotlight for, say, the likes of Greg Rucka, or Garth Ennis has another volume of Battle Classics coming out that may arrive in time for me to do this. But I guess we'll have to be surprised for next time.
All right, and we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks with a Click.
All right, later's.